Entrepreneurship can be lonely. And have you traded your friends for your business inadvertently? And maybe even you keep saying, well, it's just a busy season. I have kids. I have work. I have a spouse. I have other commitments. Friends will come back in another season. Well, if those are thoughts that are going through your head, I'm going to give you 6 simple things that you can do this week to be able to start to rebuild enriching, amazing friendships back into your life. And I'm going to hopefully give you some things to think about that make you want to get up off of your duff if you're stuck in that no friend zone right now, to be able to show you how important this is actually to your business, to your health, and to your overall happiness. Hey y'all, my name is Trevor. I'm the CEO of a company called Carrot.com. And as you've kind of followed along on my journey here on my YouTube channel and in the podcast, The Entrepreneur Freedom Formula, you've heard me talk about optimizing time and growing a business and doing marketing and doing all the things. But what we haven't really talked about is something that I probably have never heard on an entrepreneur podcast or YouTube channel, which is, what about the friends, right? One of the comments that I hear quite often from my customers over at Carrot or just from friends, I was talking with one of our clients, Jeremy, a number of months ago, and we were on the phone, and he said, man, because entrepreneurship is lonely, right? It just feels like we're kind of in this silo, we're all alone. And even if you have a local team, if you have people there with you, you as the CEO, it can feel lonely because you are on this island proverbially because you have certain responsibilities and a certain level that we have to operate that the rest of the team around us doesn't have to fulfill those same duties. It can be lonely, right? Or maybe you run an online business and you're on your computer all day long and maybe you're working with people remotely and those are your connections. Well, it can be lonely, right? Or maybe you do have a young family and you have family commitments and all the activities with the kids, and we want to make sure we're investing time with our spouses. And of course, there's no time left for our friends. So I'm going to walk you through a few stats, but also walk you through a few questions, almost like a self-analysis, a self-audit. Then I've got 6 specific things that I've done over the years to be able to go from feeling lonely and feeling isolated as an entrepreneur growing a business to having amazing, enriching friendships that just light me up. And I'll tell you about some of the things even that we did this morning on a Thursday. So a few questions I want you to think about. Are you feeling any of these things right now? Maybe you can't remember the last time that you laughed until it hurt. You know, when's the last time that you laughed until it hurted? Do you default to work when you have a slack time, when you have some downtime, because social situations feel awkward? They're like a pain to you, right? You default to just doing more work. So maybe you say no to that invite, even though you could have gone to it, but you're just so used to, your brain is so locked into work that you don't even know how to operate in those social situations anymore. Or maybe you've stopped initiating plans you used to back in the day, or maybe you had a friend that used to and you kept turning them down, and over again, they stopped inviting you. And you just keep on justifying, well, I'm just too busy, right? I'm just too busy. I just don't have time for friends. And I've got these other commitments. Or your main social interactions transactional. I was watching a video recently of a really successful, popular entrepreneur. And what came of that video, you could tell that the way that they treat relationships is very transactionally. I have a relationship with this person to be able to work with them. And he even said on a video, I don't think that there's any use to have a friend unless you're going to do business with them. And which sounds bonkers. It sounds crazy. That is a transactional relationship. That's not one that's going to build joy or long-lasting health even over the long term. Or are you scrolling social media more, but you feel worse and worse? Well, if any of those things feel like the way that you do right now, if any of those are kind of hitting you in the gut, I've felt all of those at one point or another in my entrepreneur journey. And I can tell you what I did to get out of those. Now, let's walk through some stats first to tell you why the heck this is important. So I'm just going to pull up my computer and read through some of these stats, because I remember listening to this podcast a number of years ago, then reading this Harvard study where it followed hundreds and hundreds of people from the 1920s all the way up until the early 2000s. It was an 80-something year study. And during that study at Harvard, they tracked people from all walks of life. Different races, people who were who grew up wealthy, people who grew up poor, people who were in all different white collar work, blue collar work, the whole thing, migrants, people who were Native Americans, and the whole thing. So they tracked through and they said, well, what are the indicators over this 80-year study? They would follow up with these people about every 5 years. What are the indicators that show a successful life? And it wasn't money in the bank. It wasn't success or achievements or awards or big houses or any of those things that modern day society rewards. Guys, it was, did they have lasting, deep relationships? Those were the people that, as time went on, were the happiest and most fulfilled in life, the ones that had great relationships. Okay. So let's read through some of these stats. People with strong social interactions have a 50% greater chance of survival, long-term survival. They live 25% shorter lives if you don't have meaningful, consistent, strong social interactions. This comes from a landmark that study, 148 studies covering 3.4 million people. Part of that was that Harvard study. Socially connected people have 36% lower cortisol levels. Okay, that's the stress hormone, and are 45% less likely to catch a cold. That was interesting. And less likely to get depressed. Okay, between 1985 and 2004, the average size of social networks dropped 1/3, and the number of people reporting no close confidants, no close friends, nearly tripled. And that trend has only accelerated with smartphones and social media. Social media has made us less social in the ways that actually matter. Entrepreneurs are 50% more likely to be directly or indirectly affected by mental health issues. Why is it? Well, there's several things, but part of it is we isolate away, y'all. We isolate away. 8 times more likely to suffer from debilitating ADHD, and 5 times more likely to suffer from an addiction. So can friendships solve all of this? No. Can friendships help all of these? Heck yeah, it can. And so here's some of the reasons. We're too busy, right? We're too busy to have friends. I have a family and a business. I don't have time for friends. I don't have anything common with my high school friends, my college friends anymore. So who am I going to hang out with? And all I do is work all the time. So where am I going to meet people? And the last one is I have friends that I hang out with online. So that's good enough. Okay. So the self-assessment, I want you to think about these questions as I'm going through. And if you're kind of getting a tug in your gut, I want you to take note of that and just ask, where the heck is this going to go? Follow it where it's going to take, because the 6 things I'm going to show you here in a second with stories from my own life of how I bucked this trend and built friendships intentionally back into my life. And it just has been so amazingly fruitful. When business is up, when business is down, the friendships and the rhythms that we have now just make life absolutely amazing. So first question. When was the last time that you had a conversation with a friend, not about business, okay, that left you truly feeling full, right? You had that conversation with a friend and you didn't feel the tug to talk about business. You didn't feel that the only thing that you could talk about was business. You talked about life, right? You talked about life. Okay, if you can't remember or it's been months, that's probably a challenge that we need to address head on. Okay, question 2. If you had a big business win, okay, you had a big business win. One of my friends, Patrick, literally just texted me yesterday, had a massive business win, and he celebrated it with me over the phone. He said, if you had a big business win tomorrow, who would you call within that first hour? I was one of Patrick's first calls in the first hour of having this amazing business win. Or would you let it sit by yourself? Would you kind of let that just soak in, sit by yourself and not have somebody to call? Well, these questions aren't to make you feel bad. They're to kind of cue, okay, there's an opportunity here. There's a gap to make life even more rich. I'm going to walk you through how I did that, because I answered in the negative way to all these same questions at one point in my life as an entrepreneur. Okay. Is the, in quote, I'm just really busy right now, something that you've been saying for more than a year? Have you been saying that you've been in a busy season for more than a year? If you've been saying that you've been in a busy season for more than a year, it's been your permanent state for years. That's not a season. That is your permanent state that you were settling in on. But it's an excuse for not stepping out of the comfort zone that you've built into prioritizing something that's actually going to give you more long-term fruit than that money in the bank is going to ever give you. Okay. How many people in your life know what's actually going on with you? Right? Not just the highlight reel, not the Instagram, not the good stuff. Okay. But the real version, the fears, the doubts, the hard stuff. What's your honest answer? If the answer is 0 or one person, if it's 0, man, this is an amazing opportunity. Take that cue, because once again, all the business rewards, all the business awards, all the money in the bank account is not going to fill that void. I can promise you. I've tried it. Okay. Last couple questions. When you imagine your life in 10 years from now at your best, I'm talking at your best, okay? Do the people in that vision currently exist in your life? Okay, do the people in that vision currently exist in your life today? And are you investing in those relationships in your life the way that you invest in your business? When we look out there 10 years at an amazing life, not just an amazing business, but an amazing life that the business was a part of and it helped to build, but the business is just a part of that life. Okay, the business is not the life. So when we look at that, who is in that picture? How much energy are we investing into those people right now? Because if we want them to be that big part of our life in 5 or 10 years, we need to be building that right now. And last question for you is, who challenges you? Okay, I want to challenge you. But I can only do that through this YouTube video or in my coaching program or through Instagram. Right? Follow me on Instagram. Hit me up with the DM if you need any help. But who challenges you? Who pushes you back? Who tells you things that you don't want to hear because they love you, because they truly care for you, and they don't have an obligation to do it. It's not just because you're paying that person for coaching. They're doing it because they love you and they want to call you on the carpet because they see you heading the wrong direction. If you can't name anybody, you may either be surrounded by a bunch of yes people, a bunch of people who are there for other reasons than depth of a relationship, or you just really need to, there's an opportunity to get the right people around you so you can be genuinely who you are. Okay. After you've taken that self-assessment, now you might kind of feel a certain feeling, right? You might go, oh my gosh, dude, I answered in the affirmative to all those things. Right. I've got all those. Amazing. You are doing awesome. I'm going to give you some ideas here in a second that you can take to the next level. Okay. Now, if you've answered in the kind of the negative side of it to any of those questions, or maybe all of them, don't take that as something to be guilty over. Don't take it as something to be judged for. Don't take it as something to feel bad about. Just take it as a cue and say, okay, if I answered that way for any of these questions, why did I answer that way? Why am I feeling that way? Does it matter to me to have deep relationships? Am I making excuses? Are there any opportunities I can step into? Now, you may not know how to do it. You may say, I'm not outgoing. You may say, well, I'm not like this person, or I'm not like you, Trevor, or whatever it is. But I can guarantee you, whoever you are at your core, people want to be around you. I can guarantee it when you are yourself. Okay, so here's 6 things that I did over the years to be able to get out of that situation and to really grow those amazing, fruitful friendships while I was growing my business. Okay, so going all the way back to 2007, 2008, when I started out my real entrepreneur journey, like I've talked about here in the podcast, I bought my first apartment building in 2004. That was when I was 21 years old in college. And then there's a few years when that was kind of what I did. I was trying to make some things work. So my real first business started in 2007, 2008. And I was alone in an apartment in Portland, Oregon. And then I finally met a guy, that guy right here that texted me yesterday about his win, Patrick. He and I met over the internet. We became business partners for a number of years after that. And we still get our families together every single year. And they're going to be here in July, along with about 10 other dudes that we get together with their wives and their families every single year. So the first thing that I started to have to do is to plan life first in the calendar. Okay, to plan life first in the calendar. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about another video that I want you to go watch. It's called The Integrated Week. It's my process on really dialing in your week with life first. So wait till the end of the video. I'm going to give you that link. But the biggest thing that I had to do is we have to get out of busy. Okay, we have to get out of busy. And just like I've talked about in other episodes here of the Entrepreneur Freedom Formula, we have to add joy back in intentionally. And that's just a regular routine I'm tackling every month, every quarter to say, okay, what did I used to do, or what do I want to do that gives energy and joy, especially with other people, that I'm no longer doing or that I want to start? And how do I add it into my calendar? How do I add it back in? Every single quarter, I do 1 to 2 add back ins. Okay, that means I change my calendar intentionally to add joy back into that calendar, ideally with people. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to pick 1 to 2 spots during the week that can be with just friend time. Okay. And I would encourage you to make it a weekly cadence, not just once a month, not every so often. Every single week is when you're really going to get the major benefits from that. Okay. Is it a Thursday morning? So the time I'm recording this right now, it's Thursday. And on Thursdays in the wintertime, me and a group of guys, we'd go out and do cold plunge in the river. It was a 40-degree cold plunge today. We did 5 minutes in the river, 15-minute sauna up at my buddy's sauna right there by the river, a Finnish sauna, wood fire sauna. We do 15 minutes there. We go back in the river. We did another 5 minutes today, which was crazy. We usually do 3, go back in the sun. Then we finish dip in the water. Then we go up and have yogurt that my buddy makes, homemade yogurt. That's a wild experience. It's wacky, but it's just something we just started. We said, hey, do you want to do this? Great, let's do it. And it became something that other people came to. Then the yogurt started happening, and it's just become a thing now that we all look forward to. Okay, so carve out some time. That time on my Thursday is every single Thursday after I drop my kids off 8:15 till 10 a.m. No work can happen in that block. Okay, get back to the office at 9:30, take a shower, get ready for 10 a.m. work. All right, so plan life first in the calendar. Make sure that you're first planning with your spouse, your kids, and then your friends, but it's got to go in your calendar before work goes around it. Because if we don't plan life first, there is always going to be more work to do. There's always going to be more busy. There's always going to be more projects. You're never going to reach the end of it. And you're always going to be in a spot where you're going, well, maybe next month, maybe next quarter, maybe next year, I'll get out of this season so I can enjoy my work more, so I can enjoy my life more. If you don't make that choice right now, my bet, if I were a betting man, is that you are not going to be any different in a month or 3 months unless you make that choice right now for next week. Okay, so number 2, the next step I want you to do is make it recurring. So whatever you carve out on the calendar, Tuesday mornings are date morning for my wife and I. Drop the kids off. I head back home. 8:15 till 11 a.m. is Tuesday date mornings. You're going to say, well, Trevor, dude, you've got a team. You have a bigger company. Of course, you can do that. You're telling me things that only you can do. Here's the deal, guys. Okay. I did these things when my company was small, when it was 2, 3, 4 people. Okay. I did these things way early on, but here's the deal is knowing what I know now, I would have baked this in from the start, and I would have carved out more time for life and joy in my work calendar than I ever did before. Because when you compress the amount of time that you have to get work done, it challenges us to go, shoot, I now don't have the same amount of time to get this much work done. I have to think about solving that problem from a different level of thinking now, not just that I'm going to grind away and get it all done because I've got the time. I physically can't get this done anymore in that amount of time. So how do I think differently about it? How do I make a system? How do I hire someone and delegate something? How do I build a process? How do I just say no to these things? So by adding life back in first, it challenges you to think completely different about your work schedule, and you actually get the same amount of work done or the same amount of output done in less time because you change the way that you think about tackling your work. Okay, so number 2, make it recurring. Don't just put it in the schedule once. That was one of the big mistakes that I made early on, was we would do the thing once. Say, going back to the cold plunge, when we first started doing that, my friend Daniel, it's at his house on the river, and he invited us out. And we did it, and it was great. And we did it, and then we didn't do it again for a long time. And so then Daniel started coming to my workouts. I'm going to talk about that on one of the next ones. And then we just said, hey, we should just make this a thing, because if every week we were trying to go, hey, Daniel, are you guys available Thursday morning for sauna and cold plunge? We'd be like, no, I've already got things planned. So if we don't make it recurring, we won't plan around it, and we'll always have an excuse to not go do those things. So make it recurring, put it on the calendar. It's recurring. It happens every single week, and you do it like clockwork. Okay. So Thursday morning cold plunge and sauna is one of those recurring items. But we also have Monday, Wednesday, Friday workout in the gym with there's some crossover in that friend group, but there's some different dudes that show up to this one. They're recurring. Guys know, even when I'm out of town, y'all, sauna and cold plunge still happens on Thursdays, and the workout in my office with my trainer I'm paying, that still happens with the guys when I'm gone. Okay. Number 3, start fun meetings. Now, what do I mean about fun meetings? So the way that this workout group started, I was working out by myself, and honestly pretty lonely working out by myself. And the days that I just wouldn't want to show up and do the workouts were the days when I actually needed that accountability. And so I would have guys reach out to me, guys that I liked, guys that I had met at church or at business groups. And just they're dudes that I wanted to hang out with a little bit more. And I just didn't carve out the time for it. So they would reach out to me to try to set up meetings, like business meetings. So one's a CPA, one's a financial planner, one does this other stuff. And I was like, I don't really want to set up a meeting with a financial planner. I like the dude, but I don't want to go talk about financial planning. So what I told him was this, and I started doing this all the time. I said, hey, I'm not going to go do a lunch or breakfast meeting with you, but I do work out here at this time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So why don't you come work out with me? So most people that doesn't work with, but here's the cool thing. The ones who are going to take that challenge are the ones that probably have a lot in common with you. They're the ones who probably are you're going to have a good time with. Okay. So tossing that challenge out, yeah, a lot of people aren't going to do it, but the ones who are, they may be an amazing set of people who could be great friends for you. So one by one, I kept on doing that, and I would collect a guy. And now we're going on, I think, 4 years in this group where it is a thing now. Like I said, these guys have said that this makes their week. It sets them straight. We pray together. We work out together. We talk business. We talk family. It's just an amazing time to grow together. And we do things outside of our workouts now as well. So start fun meetings, things that you'd like to do when people want to go pick your brain, or you want to have a lunch meeting or a coffee meeting. Say, hey, actually, I'm going to be out hiking every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. out over here. Why don't you join me? If you'd like to meet with me, come hike with me. I'm going to be at this trailhead. Or what we used to do back in the days, we used to mountain bike ride every Tuesday for about 3 years, me and Seth and a couple other guys. Hey, if you want to hang out, we're going to be mountain biking over here. Meet us at this part of the parking lot. I'll text you the day before. Meet us. Most people would say no, but some did, and it was amazing. Okay. Number 4 is plan adventures with friends. So those are kind of the normal everyday rhythm of just the glue that holds that together, the relationships, the joy on the weekly basis. But we want to plan adventures as well. So Dave, who's in my workout group now, he plans a hike adventure. So about 3 years ago, we started doing a wilderness hike, and we'll go up in the wilderness for 3 days, 3 nights, and then we'll hike. This last one is a 26-mile hike up in the Oregon wilderness. You pack in what you're going to have. We were catching fish out there in the middle of these wilderness lakes. We actually hiked up on a glacier in July in Oregon, and then came back down. It is absolutely amazing. About 4 or 5 guys, a couple sons were in there, and it was amazing. So that's one of our annual adventures now. Or with Patrick, the guy I mentioned before, we live on opposite sides of the country. He's in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm here in Oregon. So we've just made it a decision to say, hey, we're going to get together at least once a year. We're going to bring our families, our spouses, our kids most of the time. And we're going to invite some other guys as well. So this is a group of people from all around the country. We've been meeting every single year since 2010. We've only missed one. That was in 2020. And it's pretty much been the same, about 8 or 9 guys that we've been connecting. Now the spouses are connecting as well. So this next one's actually going to be here in Roseburg at my home. But we've been at Jackson Hole, Wyoming. We've rafted rivers together. We've skydive. We've been in Phoenix, Arizona. We ran the Rocky Trail basically in Philadelphia from our hotel, where my buddy owns that hotel, to the courthouse steps, or whatever that is, the Capitol steps. We've done all those things together. Plan cool adventures once, twice a year with some people that you'd love to hang out with. Okay, grow together. Don't just do things that are fun, but grow together. Challenge each other. If you see people off, challenge them. Ask for help. Ask for prayer. Whatever it's going to be, but find ways that you can grow your skill sets together. Because when you grow together, that's when real, amazing, rich things can happen. One thing that we did there in 2020, my friend Seth and then Brady, who's a friend of mine as well, I wanted to run a half marathon. And so I tossed out the challenge to the guys, and they both were a lot more runners than I was at that time. And we tackled that one together. We kind of trained independently, but we got together, did this big challenge. We grew together, challenged each other, and we ran a half marathon, our own sanctioned half marathon there, unsanctioned half marathon there over by the river. It was absolutely amazing. So number 6, I'll round this out, is another thing I love to do is do business together. Now, there can be the saying that you've probably heard from people of, well, don't do business with your friends or with your family because it might wreck the relationships, where that can happen. That is true. That can happen. But I've found a lot of amazing fruits from growing businesses together, especially with people that have similar shared values, that have similar shared visions and goals that you like to hang out with. Even when things got hard, if you have shared values, shared visions and goals, you're going to be able to find a way to wade through those. So some of my best friends today I'm in business with. Patrick, who I mentioned before, he was my first business partner, and we're still amazing friends today. Another one that came after that, Chris, one of my best friends in the world, him and his family, they've been out to our house. We've been out to theirs. We take trips together all over the place. I'm in business with him. I own part of the software company that he runs, Sales Message, as well. And then Seth, my friend and mentor here, who's local here to Oregon, we own a winery together on accident. That's a whole nother story, but we own a winery together with a handful of other people. We're doing business together. It makes business fun. We all love business and we all love each other, and let's do it together. So let me recap those 6 steps. I'm going to give you the link to the integrated week training to be able to block out that time intentionally on your calendar to focus on relationships, life first before business. Okay. Step 1, plan life first on the calendar, then plan business around it. Step 2, make them recurring, something you don't have to remember over and over again. It's always on the calendar. People know, and you can invite people to it. Step 3, start fun meetings. Okay, stop just sitting at your desk. Stop just having meetings by yourself. Stop accepting lunch. Can I get a pick your brain or go to lunch? Invite them to things that you love to do, and you're going to start to find the people that love to do that with you. Number 4, plan adventures with friends. Pick one thing this next year that's an adventure you can do with 1, 2, 3, 4 other people that you all like. It challenges you, and it's something that you're going to remember for years and years. Number 5, grow together. Find ways to read together, to share through scripture together. I've got my Wednesday morning Bible study here in the office at 6:30 in the morning with about 7 other dudes. They're all entrepreneurs as well. Amazing guys. We're growing together. And then last, do business together. Those ones that you're the closest with, that have shared values and shared visions, find some ways you can do some cool things together. Because when we can grow business with friends, to me, that's the best of both worlds. Right. So that goes without saying, though, if you're married, if you have kids, if you're a believer, it's faith first, it's family second, it's friends right around there, around the health and friends side of it. So definitely don't put the friends ahead of faith or ahead of family. It's got to be in the right order. But what a lot of people do is they're going to go down that list maybe, or you know what comes first is finances and business. Finances and business is number 1 for most people, most entrepreneurs, and everything else suffers below it. I don't want that to happen for you. All right, guys, let's build businesses that truly serve you, that you don't serve over and over again. And let's make it so this is the last year that you say, this is just a busy season. Let's make it so this is the last year that you look back and go, man, I just really don't have any close friends. And it is going to be uncomfortable. Okay, it might take some leaps of faith. It might take you stepping out of that comfort zone and going and meeting some people, and maybe joining a group in town, and then starting something of your own. And it might take 2-3 years to build up that friend group. But I can tell you what, it's going to be so enriching in your life and going to make business 100 times better. All right, guys, go check out the integrated week training. We'll link it up here on the YouTube channel. Hit subscribe if you're watching YouTube or if you're listening to this on the podcast, because I'd absolutely love if I can continue to be your partner, be your confidant through the digital webs, to be able to speak into you while you're growing that friendship group and while you're growing your business. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next video, the next podcast episode. We'll talk soon.